no matter who you're trying to reach, no matter what message you're trying to reach them with, no matter who that person is, these technologies, if you want to call them that, these mobile, social, and digital technologies are so embedded in all of our lives that you really don't have any choice but to embrace them. Not that long ago, I think it was November, I was out in Spokane, Washington, driving in to do an event not unlike this, listening in the car on the radio to a story about how the Spokane City Council, and I should stop and point out that Spokane, Washington is not Seattle. Spokane is almost in Idaho. It's much closer to Idaho politically and geographically than it is to Seattle. So this is not a hippy-dippy, ultra-liberal community. The Spokane City Council that morning announced that they had just allocated $100,000 of taxpayer money to provide free Wi-Fi for the homeless. Homeless. Why? I'm not making a joke about it at all. Because even the homeless carry around Wi-Fi connected smartphones. And when the city government needed to contact the homeless about severe weather or about availability in shelters, anything else, this is the most effective way to reach people who do not have homes. In a community like this, you've probably heard of the website Farmers Only. Anybody? Nodding of heads. Dating network, basically, for farmers. All right, well, I have to show you a picture of this or you wouldn't believe me. Deadmeat.com is a dating network for funeral directors. I don't have a login on that site that you know of. But really, the point behind those stories is, again, building on the things that you saw in the video. It doesn't matter what your business is, big or small, B2C, B2B. It doesn't matter who you're trying to reach. All of us, everyone out there, conduct so many aspects of our lives online that you don't have any choice today but to embrace it one way or another. Another way to sort of think about that is in numbers. Right, so I had that last slide on the screen for about a minute. In the minute I did that, 136 million emails were sent. Many people think email is passé. On the other hand, many of you, if not all of you, were invited here through a relationship with a TV station. And you might be thinking, well, what about TV ads? What about radio ads? What about newspapers? What about all the traditional media we've been using for years to make people aware, as Bob said, of the fact that we exist? I'd tell you, as a dyed-in-the-wool digital guy, that I agree. I think local television is the most effective technology that's ever been created to let people in your community know that you exist. If you're doing your job really well, maybe even to know what you do, potentially to feel good about potentially buying something from you. But the whole rest of this presentation is going to boil down to three very, very simple words. The three simple words that you need to think about in respect to everything else we're going to talk about today are this. What happens next? What happens next uniformly today starts with a computer. Starts with a white box on a screen that we call Google. It may flow through a recommendation from someone you know on a social media site, a rating or a review or a recommendation from a stranger on a site like Yelp. It may end up in your email inbox. More and more, though, the computer in question looks like this and not like what you might traditionally think of it as. And yet, 80+% of local businesses don't have websites that are optimized to work on phones. When someone goes to look for your business, they get that beautiful Google box and they type Spatula City, Springfield in there. If you don't show up on the first page of those search results, if you don't exist in places like Facebook and their email inbox and a mobile phone where people spend their time, if no one has said anything about your business online, you have no ratings or reviews or any sort of online reputation, you're what's known as digitally invisible. A lot of the time, I talk to business owners who do nothing, who say, well, I've got a laundry list of 15 things back at the shop that I know how to do, that I need to do, and I'm only going to get through 6 of them today anyway. So I'm just going to focus on the things I know how to do, because this, I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to turn. I don't know what to do. That happens over and over and over again, and it may happen to you. The other option is to let somebody help you. Being successful online for your business breaks down really to 4 pretty basic things. When people look for you online, they've seen your TV commercial, they want to buy that red plastic spatula from you, they type Spatula City Springfield into a Google box, into Yelp, into Facebook, can they find you? It's pretty simple. When they do find you, do they find quality, consistent content about your business? And this is where I start to throw out the potentially frightening, provocative statements, but keeping in mind that Number one, when they find you, they're going to find you here. And number two, when they find you, the content they find about you more often than not will not be content you created. It'll be something, a social media post, a rating and review on a Facebook page, a Yellow Pages listing. Most of the time it won't be anything you created, but is that thing that they find consistently representing your business in the way that you would like to represent it? Once they've found you and you like what they've found, can you distribute it into the places they are? A troubling fact for a lot of business owners is that, simply put, consumers are not going to spend a lot of time on your website. They're just not. Consumers in today's day and age spend time online in two places. Social media and email are the number one and number two usage activities for all people on the internet, in all age groups, in all demographics, in all time zones, on all devices. For people under 25, it's social and then email. For people over 25, they flip. That's basically it. This is where people are. So can you put your content or content about your business in the places people spend time online? And then, having done that, can you turn that into leads, which is what you want? Does that content result in people calling you, coming into your store, requesting a quote, scheduling an appointment? It's really that simple, right? But there's always a but. Television, local television advertising in particular, may be the most effective means ever created to let people in your community know that you exist and what you do. Google AdWords is the most efficient form of marketing that's ever been created. It is this way because you can put your advertising in whatever form you want. You can write hundreds of different ad copy for free. You can put your ad in front of only the exact specific people you want to see it. At the times you want to see it, you can take your ads down when your stores are closed. You can target it by geography, by demographics, by behavior, by anything else you know about who your potential customer is. And you only pay for them when somebody clicks on it. Yet none of those things are why it's on the screen today. The reason I put it up on the screen is one of these signals that Google talks about, this wisdom of the crowd. Google wants to know that people care about your business. It wants to know that when it's deciding who to show to a user who typed in red plastic spatula, Springfield, Missouri, it wants to know that yours is the right business. What's one of the most powerful ways you can teach Google that yours is the right business? If you're putting AdWords into Google and people are clicking on those AdWords over and over and over and over again, not only are they going to your website and giving you an opportunity to sell them product, they are teaching Google. They are giving Google a very, very powerful signal in their language that your business is the right response for this query. It may be the most effective thing you can do for your business to raise your natural or organic search rankings, or to put AdWords on search pages and get people to click on them. They are going to start to severely penalize businesses whose websites are not optimized for mobile phones. They won't tell us the exact percentage or exactly the way that they're going to do it, but they do not issue proclamations like this very often, telling us we will be expanding our use of mobile friendliness as a ranking signal. What this means is we will punish you if your website doesn't work on a phone. They even went so far as to give us a test. There's a little form that you can type your website's URL into, and it will tell you thumbs up or thumbs down. When people find your business for the first time online, they will find it more often than not on a phone, and the thing they will first see is not content you created. It will be something that someone put on Facebook or on Yelp or on YP or on your Google Plus page. Even if you don't like that fact, you can't change it. All you can do is embrace it and control it. You have tools at your disposal to know every time someone says something about your business online. You have the ability to respond to these things and control your online reputation. You have tools to actually generate more positive reviews. But in order to do those things, you have to start with embracing the fact that your message online does not start and end with you. What people see about your business on social media is not all that dissimilar. Your Facebook page, if you're doing it well, could very well be the first place people encounter your business. What do people do on Facebook? They don't go to Facebook to read words. They certainly don't go there to read words about we have a new product or a sale or 50% off. They don't care. If you put information about your business in a compelling form, the format people want to consume, into Facebook, stored in video that Google owns, you can do wonderful things for it. People go there to see videos and pictures. Most of the time, if you have a Facebook page, and I'll touch on this again in a minute, you just write words. People want to see videos and they want to see pictures. This is the type of content people expect to see when they encounter a business in social media. Any business, including yours, you can put whatever message you want to create about your business into any format you want. You can put it into text, into banner ads, into rich media, things that dance across the screen, into videos, into Facebook posts, into tweets. You can put it out to you can reach whoever you want, whoever your target customer is, wherever you want, whenever you want, however often you want, for whatever you're willing to pay. An example of how complicated, or complex, or interesting this can be, this is the Pepsi Center. It's a basketball arena in Denver. These thumbtacks are people who were at a Taylor Swift concert at the Pepsi Center. This ad is an advertisement that was served only to the people who were at the Taylor Swift concert at the Pepsi Center and were tweeting about the fact that they were at a Taylor Swift concert at the Pepsi Center, and they got those ads while they were there. A simpler, more sort of real-world example of this is, this doesn't have to be the Pepsi Center. It could be the University of Wisconsin football stadium in Madison, Wisconsin, on a cold day in November when the University of Michigan is in town. 10,000 people in that stadium are rooting for Michigan. There's one bar in Madison, Wisconsin that caters to Michigan fans, called Schlotzsky's or something like that. On the day of this football game, they wanted to put a message out there targeted directly to the Michigan fans, and only the Michigan fans, that said, hey, bring this ad into Schlotzsky's on your cell phone, and get a free pitcher of beer. About halftime of the football game, the cell phones of everyone in that stadium starts lighting up with full-page ads to come down to Schlotzsky's after the game and get a free pitcher of beer. You can't imagine the size of the line outside of Schlotzsky's after that game. But the question that business owners often have is, well, how do you know who the people in the stadium are that are Michigan fans? Your phone knows. There's a GPS in this thing that's active even when your phone is off, that knows you just drove down from Ann Arbor. It knows that you're posting selfies of you wearing your maize and blue hat or tweeting out, go Wolverines. Your phone gives away vastly more about you than you could ever imagine. But this doesn't even have to be a basketball or a football arena at all. This could be every car lot in Springfield, Missouri. And you could say, hey, we want to target advertising at only the people who've been on car lots within 50 miles of Springfield in the last 30 days. Oh, by the way, only the ones who are female and 25 to 49 years old and make more than $60,000 a year. No problem. This type of incredibly highly targeted advertising is available to all of your businesses today at price points you can afford. But, there's always a but, these are mobile ads. If your business is one of the 80% of local businesses whose website is not optimized for a mobile phone, you're more or less wasting your money. And that's one of the reasons that we came up with this Voltron metaphor, right? You can't effectively use any one of the pieces of this technological invisibility or invincibility. You can't use any one of them on its own. They just don't work until you put a number of these pieces together. Many of you probably have paid someone or are still paying someone to make your website for you. You may think it's mobile optimized. Someone may be telling you it's mobile optimized when it's not. Because you might say, oh, well look, I pull up my website on a phone and there it is. Remember, this is how we use them. Driving along, I desperately want to buy that red plastic spatula, and I want to buy it from you. But I don't remember where your store is. I don't know if you're open. I don't know if you have the red plastic spatula in stock. This is, after all, a phone. I'd sure like to call you. How do I do it? I'm trying to get to your store. There's a GPS in here. I'd sure like it directions. How do I do it? A website like that on a phone is an invitation to buy the red plastic spatula at Target. This is what a mobile optimized website looks like. I often tell people a mobile optimized website looks like it was created by a third grader with crayons. Big, fat, thumb-friendly boxes, primary colors, like 2 or 3 or 4 things. This is all they want to do. They don't want to peruse your entire product catalog or read 3 pages about the history of your business. They've already decided they want to buy from you. Don't get in their way. Let them use your phone, their phone, to call you, to get directions and a map to your store. Sure, you can give them a link to the rest of their website, of your website, in case they really want to see it. This is what a mobile optimized website looks like. And you'd be amazed at how often people will use that click to call button if you give them the chance. One of the critical components that I think you need to think through as you address how you want to attack this mountain is start by understanding, how are you doing right now? It's actually can be a rather daunting question to answer. And so if any of the things that we've talked about today make any sense, if you were interested in hearing specifically about all the stuff we talked about today in the context of your business and how you're doing, that's exactly how we would love to start the next conversation with you. Just like today was, no obligation, leave your checkbook at home, we're not trying to sell you anything. All we'd love to do to follow up today is to give you a scorecard for your business. Would have a number on it. This business gets a 53. That's out of 100. That's like a high school biology test. We call a 53, I don't know, room for improvement. But the question, right, is why? It's not enough for me to tell you you're getting a 53, and can I tell you why in a way that you can understand? How about green check marks and red X's? This business, their website doesn't work on a phone. That's a problem. This business has not claimed any of those directories, those postcards in the mail with the 7-digit alphanumeric code. They didn't claim them. Uh-oh. Here's your first big, scary techno acronym mumbo-jumbo alert. NAP error rate, 100%. Anybody want to guess in the context of this conversation what an NAP error might mean? It's really hardcore techno speak. Name, address, phone number. Because they haven't taken control of their presence across all of these directories, 100% of the time that people search for this business, some of the information they get back, the most basic information about what this business is called, where it is, and how to contact them is wrong. If Google can't figure out what your business is, how do you expect a consumer to? Another one of the Voltron lions that this guy is missing, no online reputation. Nobody is saying anything about this business. Interestingly, we don't have to look at it in a vacuum either. One of the reasons you have a little postcard in front of you is if you tell us who 2 or 3 of your competitors are, we can show you not just your 53, but what score do your competitors get, and what red X's and green check marks do they have. And more often than not, you're going to be in one of 2 situations. You're going to have a 53, and you're going to see a competitor with a 79 or an 85, and you're going to get to have the frightening but useful conversation to understand what competitive disadvantage you're at by having a competitor be that far ahead of you. The happier version that some of you might get to have is, yeah, you got a 53. Both of your primary competitors also have a 52 and a 56. So you get to talk about, well, how good would it be? What sort of competitive advantage might you have if you were the one that had an 85? And understand what might it take to turn a few of those red X's into green check marks, and what would it do for your business if you did. We would argue that assembling a full Voltron robot, of putting together all of the pieces of these, are really what you need to do to become truly invincible in 2015 online. But you can't think about doing that until you first understand where you are today.